So essentially what happens is that it doesn't freaking register that I have uh it doesn't register that I have a mic in use. Like it doesn't register anything that I do over the mic. So essentially no one hears me. So I'm back. But no, Riff, please get your shit together regarding this because this is becoming like 3 times annoying. And whatever mic issues I'm having are on Rift's end. When I plug them, when I do manage to finally get it working, I get like a robot-y kind of feeling to it when I'm hearing it. So that's another issue on the Rift side of things. Rift TV, please get your shit together regarding that. Thank you. I appreciate it. If you would just work on that a bit more. Yeah. All right. Getting back to the actual episode. No, because you're a moron. Swear to God, Lucy Christian in this sounds a lot like freaking trying to remember the words here. I keep getting distracted by the show. Oh my God. Okay, so Lucy Christian voices Udaka, but she sounds a lot like Jeremy. Jesus. Hold on. I want to go back. Damn it. I wanted to go back for a second. Sorry. I was doing some stuff and I needed to make sure that it went through. Dude. Okay. Finally able to move on from 22. Thank God. Plus Ultra. the thing is, I already know his backstory, so this isn't really going to help. Let's see if we can do this. God dang. I just wanted them to get on with the battle. Stop freaking pausing it. God. Sometimes Riff is really annoying. Go for it, Midoriya. Sorry, I'm just. Everybody, like, hypes this fight, but I'm more just disappointed with how shitty he uses his ability. Like, Midoriya can do so much better, but he's just. I mean, you gotta admire like his will, but God, man, Deku, like so early on, Deku frustrates me because he should have figured this stuff out by now, and he still hasn't. He should have figured out how to start using All for One without hurting himself. And I know that the next step he's gonna do that, but damn, man. Oh, this bugs me so much. this was more for Todoroki than it was for Midoriya. Even though it was very intense emotionally, it's not too different from the manga, sadly. Now you're worth fighting. That's that was more impressive than anything else in the whole fight. Just that alone. Just that alone was more impressive than the entire fight. That one attack. Oh, it was so good. Jesus. The fact that Todoroki's that beat up though shows off Midoriya's power because the teacher's blocking that attack and taking quite a bit of the damage from it. Like, honestly, the reason Midoriya lost is because he wore himself out with a shit technique that he wasn't ready to use. I'm sorry. I understand how this show goes and the narrative and how Midoriya is growing, but at a certain point, you got to come back and when you have to come back and look at stuff and know what's going to be happening later on, you just kind of get frustrated with Midoriya not picking up on this stuff himself because he's actually really intelligent. He just keeps getting himself locked in the same mindset, and it's his own damn fault. So at this point, yeah, I'm kind of pissed off at Midoriya more than anything because for such a smart person, he's behaving really stupidly. There's like 12 different ways that he could have used the power other than what he was doing right there. Exactly. Oh, see, that's where the growth happened. It was all Todoroki that had the growth. Rabbit! I freaking love Monica as Suyu. Yeah. Exactly. And he should have picked up on that a long time ago. So yeah, I'm actually pissed at Midoriya. I'm sorry, but this is just at this point it's just crappy writing. The first thing that should have been done, the logical move, especially for somebody as logical as he is and as intelligent as he should have figured that out. So yeah, I I find the fact that it took him so long to figure out a better way to use his quirk kind of shitty and bad writing. So this one's on the mangaka. Sorry to say it, but yeah. I'm not going to be nice about every single anime. I'm just not. And it's not just watching the show here, it's reading the manga in the earlier chapters. I had the same thoughts. Like, this is just bad. This was just bad writing for how long it actually took. Ooh. Yep. Stuff gets interesting here. Just finished the sports festival. At this point, oh yeah, I like this. Sorry, I just can't. I just can't get into Midoriya because I guess I've gotten used to characters who are really stupid, but are very good at doing when it comes to battles. They pick up on how to fight and how to use their abilities pretty quickly. So I guess I've gotten spoiled by that. And in many cases, yes, Midoriya is kind of the opposite of that. He's actually very intelligent. Smart guy. I'm not used to a smart guy who's stupid in battle. Got to make a living. and now Ida's going to do something stupid, but I can understand why he would do something stupid because he's emotional. Whereas Midoriya hasn't been emotional throughout his entire time, or maybe he has, but that still doesn't excuse, like, emotion can only last for so long. There are breaks in between where your logical mind takes over. Or I guess maybe that's just me. I get that they're about to start back up with season 2, or I guess season 3, however you want to call it, but whatever. At this point, I'm just kind of like, I don't even want to worry about this plot. Just get the freaking sports festival over with. As messed up as this sounds, I'm getting bored with it. I'm getting really bored with, like, the side story stuff that's on the side. Maybe if I didn't know what was going on in the manga before I watched the anime, it'd be a bit different, but I'm just really bored with this. Like, I know what's going to happen, and I'm like, just get one thing over and let's move on. I think it's more because I have anticipation about what's coming up, because I know that Midoriya is going to improve his technique by, like, in leaps and bounds, and I want to see that. And I don't I could care less about the discussion that's going to happen between Handy Boy and the Villain League and Stain. I could care less about that because I know how that's going to go. The only part I care about is when I get to see Stain go at it again and all the different Nomus going after the heroes. Shitty sense of direction. He's the very opposite of what you'd think of as a hero. Mm-hmm. I can kind of agree with Bakugo though. The simple fact that Bakugo didn't get Todoroki to face him head on with his full strength. I understand that. Bakugo just has the really worst way of doing it. I mean, this is actually good writing, like around the character of Bakugo. It's a shame that Midoriya couldn't be a more well thought out character and how his personality and design was done. Hello, viewer. Thanks for coming by for half a second. Guess I should have been watching it in Japanese on Crunchyroll. Okay, this scene was really well done vocally. The scene was well directed and well acted. Because a scene like this requires a good amount of faith in your director in order to guide you to the scene that they're looking for. And good choices. Good choices in the offer. God dang it. I keep getting distracted by this. All right. It, they're really good choices in the takes, the different variations of takes that probably went through to make that scene happen. And obviously you had to have someone with uh, good acting skills. And of course, Tatum is well known for it, but I'll look it up later, but whoever voiced the older brother in that scene, that was really well done too, because it pulls you in emotionally, and you can't half-ass a scene like that, or it'll fall flat, and people will notice whether they know why they notice or whether they just know that something's wrong with the scene, because a lot of people who aren't familiar with the process of just acting in general or voice acting will know a bad performance or a phoned in performance when they hear or see it. And so that was really, really well done for the fact that, I mean, it was done with the proper emotional tones and the amount of stress that was put on there. And it just shows yet again another aspect of the dub of the argument of sub versus dub, where people are saying that the dubs aren't as good because the American voice actors just aren't that great and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, that argument may have been valid, like, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, with the exclusion of Dragon Ball Z, which was one of the main ones going at the time. But I mean, come on, uh, the level of voiceover that has been put into anime over the last 2 decades has been climbing, has just been skyrocketing. I mean, there were a lot of studios that kind of phoned it in back in the 90s, but as of the 2000s, no. And anyone who tries to tell me that the English dub of Fruits Basket was terrible, I want to meet you in person so I can punch you in the face, because those are fighting words. And I know a lot of the people that were in the cast that worked on that and did the voiceover for that. And there were plenty of really emotional moments in there. And the choices that were made were really well done. And I've listened to the Japanese dub, and I've compared the two, and there are moments where they made choices differently in each version, but I stand by the dub version on that. And the same with Yu Yu Hakusho. Like, Yusuke is so much better when he's done as a smarmy asshole the way he was done by Justin Cook. And if anybody sits there and tries to tell me that the dub of Cowboy Bebop is inferior to the sub, I'm just going to laugh you out of wherever we are, because that was really well done. And it kind of set the bar for how voice acting for English dubs of anime should be. And I didn't think this was going to turn into a sub versus dub thing, but sometimes when I get on a tangent, but I think that this kind of dissuades part of that. Now, I believe that when it comes to sub versus dub, a lot of the time now is just generally which one you hear first. And there are some that I can listen to both the sub and the dub and be okay with. It's not often, but there are some. And funny enough, this is actually one of the shows. This one probably Assassination Classroom. Pardon me. Assassination Classroom. I'm gonna be honest. When it comes to the dub of Fairy Tail, like, there's some things that I think are done well, and there's some things that kind of bother me because I started off with the Japanese version, and I prefer that version. I prefer the sub to the dub for Fairy Tail. And yes, I know that I have friends in the voiceover community and people that work at Funimation. It's not anything. It's not anything against casting choices or whose voice sounds like what. It's I started off with the sub, So that's what I was used to. And it's a personal preference. It's not against anything that anybody did. I don't think they did a bad job in translation. It's just weird hearing some of the things said in English. It just feels a little weird to me. And that can be and I can understand that argument. I absolutely relate to that. But anybody that sits there and tells me that the Japanese, I mean, in certain aspects with some directing choices, you'll get Japanese parts that are more emotional. But anybody that tries to tell me that the voice acting is weaker in the English dub has not been paying attention to dubs recently. Get off your high horse and check some shit out. Just saying. All right. Tirade over. We'll continue with the show. I'm really passionate about this because I am a voiceover actor. Even if it's just like commercial stuff. These things kind of bother me. Yeah. And that's where we're going to end it. Y'all have a good one. I think I said enough in my little rant to talk about the end of that. I do want to watch some things that are on Funimation streaming here dubbed. I don't necessarily know if they're all absolute premium things, but there are some that I really do want to watch just because I want to be able to review them at a later time when I'm doing discussions with maybe directors or cast members, stuff like that. So that's primarily the reason I will be watching some of these things dubbed. Now, keep in mind that I may either be current with the manga on some of these, or it may be the first time I'm watching them, or I may have watched it subbed and I'll be critical of a dub if I've already seen it subbed. So, leaving it at that. Thank you guys for hanging out with me for this Saturday. Uh, it's not as long as it normally is for me, and I will be making a list of stuff that hopefully I'll check out later. So, yeah, there'll be a new list of anime for me to react to, or at least one of the four options will change. That having been said, I'm Richie Roberts. Hope you had fun and keep watching more anime.